Emily Rose. A descent into darkness. Darkness, suffocating, heavy darkness. It clung to Emily Rose like a scary blanket made of fear and mystery. Her story, a chilling mix of faith, madness, and demons, still gives us nightmares. This isn't just a scary story but a trip into the deepest human suffering, where sanity and possession become blurred. Emily's trouble didn't start with a shout, but a whisper, a creepy chill, a quick shadow in the corner of her eye. These small, strange things soon turned into something much worse, an evil force that would take over her life and leave a permanent scar on everyone who dared to get close. Brace yourselves. This isn't a story for scaredy cats. This is the chilling true story of Emily Rose. 1969, the year we landed on the moon, also saw the birth of Emily Rose. It was a time of great hope and excitement, a period when humanity seemed to be reaching for the stars, both literally and metaphorically. Amidst this backdrop of progress and optimism, Emily's life began in a small, unassuming village in Bavaria, Germany. Growing up in a religious Catholic family in the countryside of Bavaria, Germany, Emily was known for her happy laugh and strong faith. Her family was deeply rooted in their traditions, attending church every Sunday and celebrating religious holidays with fervor. Emily's childhood was a tapestry of love, faith, and community. Her childhood was perfect, filled with the simple joys of family, friends, and a deep love for her religion. She spent her days playing in the fields, attending school, and participating in church activities. Her faith was her anchor, providing her with a sense of purpose and belonging. At 17, Emily left the safety of her home for college. It was a significant step, one that filled her with both excitement and trepidation. She was eager to learn and grow, to explore the world beyond her small village. But leaving home also meant leaving behind the familiar comforts of her family and her faith. Away from the comfort of her family and her faith, a darkness started to creep into her life. The bustling college environment, with its pressures and challenges, began to weigh heavily on her. She found herself struggling to keep up with her studies, feeling increasingly isolated and overwhelmed. What began as trouble focusing and mild worry quickly became something much scarier. Emily started experiencing strange, unsettling sensations. She would hear whispers in the dead of night, see fleeting shadows out of the corner of her eye. Her once peaceful nights were now filled with restless sleep and disturbing dreams. The once happy Emily became quiet, bothered by hallucinations and seizures. Her friends noticed the change, but she found it difficult to explain what she was going through. The seizures were terrifying, leaving her exhausted and disoriented. The hallucinations, vivid and frightening, made her question her own sanity. Her worried parents, scared for their daughter, took her to the doctor. They hoped for a simple explanation, a straightforward diagnosis that could be treated with medication or therapy. But the reality was far more complex and troubling. Doctors, confused by her worsening condition, couldn't explain it, guessing everything from epilepsy to psychosis. They ran numerous tests, each one more invasive than the last, but the results were inconclusive. Emily's symptoms didn't fit neatly into any medical category, leaving her doctors baffled and her family desperate for answers. Emily, however, believed something much more evil was holding her captive, a bad spirit, sneaky and relentless. She felt its presence constantly, a malevolent force that seemed to feed on her fear and despair. Her once unshakable faith was now her only refuge, as she prayed for deliverance from the darkness that had taken hold of her life. Emily's nightmares came into her waking life, turning her world into a twisted version of what it once was. Her once comforting faith became a source of pain as she claimed to see demon faces staring at her from crosses, and hear creepy voices whispering bad things in her ears. Her body, once healthy and strong, became a battlefield. The seizures got worse, twisting her body in unnatural ways, leaving her bruised and hurt. She started hating holy objects, screaming in pain when she touched holy water or smelled incense. Desperate, her family asked their priest, Father Richard Moore, for help. When he looked into Emily's eyes, he didn't see madness, but a soul under attack. He believed Emily was possessed, her body and mind a jail for something ancient and evil. Spiritual warfare, exorcism, and aftermath. The battle between good and evil is often depicted in stories and legends, but for Emily and her family it was a harsh reality. This is the story of their struggle, their faith, and the aftermath of an exorcism that would change their lives forever. Believing that Emily's suffering was beyond medicine, Father Moore, with her scared parents' permission, asked the bishop to perform an exorcism. a ritual rarely done and kept very secret. The family had tried everything, from doctors to specialists, but nothing seemed to help. Emily's condition only worsened, and the strange occurrences around her became more frequent and terrifying. The bishop, touched by Emily's pain and Father Moore's belief, reluctantly agreed. He knew the risks involved, both spiritually and physically, but he also understood the desperation in the eyes of Emily's parents. The decision was not taken lightly, and preparations for the exorcism began immediately. So began a series of terrifying rituals, a desperate fight to free Emily from the evil that had its claws deep inside her. The exorcism sessions were long and grueling, often lasting through the night. Father Moore and the other priests involved were unwavering in their commitment despite the toll it took on them. The air became thick with the smell of incense and the quiet prayers of the priests. The atmosphere was heavy, almost suffocating, as if the very walls of the church were closing in. Each prayer, each chant was a plea for divine intervention, a call for help in the face of overwhelming darkness. Emily thrashed and screamed, her voice changed and inhuman, saying terrible things that scared everyone there. Her strength was unnatural, and it took several people to hold her down. The things she said were not just frightening, they were deeply personal, targeting the fears and insecurities of those present. The exorcisms gave her some breaks, but the evil always came back, stronger and more determined to hurt her. Each time they thought they had made progress, the malevolent force would return with a vengeance, leaving Emily and her family in a constant state of fear and uncertainty. Emily's body, weakened by the constant fighting, grew frail, but her spirit, powered by her strong faith, refused to give up. She found strength in her prayers, in the support of her family, and in the unwavering dedication of Father Moore. Despite the physical toll, her resolve remained unbroken, a testament to the power of faith and the human spirit. A house divided: science versus faith. This age-old conflict has been the subject of countless debates, books, and even movies. It's a clash of two worldviews, each with its own set of beliefs, principles, and methods of understanding the world. On one side we have science, grounded in empirical evidence, experimentation, and rationality. On the other, faith, rooted in spiritual beliefs, traditions, and the unseen. This chapter delves into this profound dichotomy through the lens of Emily's harrowing experience. As Emily's case became famous, it sparked a big argument, a clear example of the fight between logic and the supernatural. The courtroom became a battleground where experts from both sides presented their cases with fervor. Scientists and doctors armed with data and medical records, while priests and believers brought forth testimonies of faith and spiritual encounters. The tension was palpable, each side convinced of their truth, unwilling to concede an inch. Doctors, sticking to their doubt, said her symptoms were epilepsy, schizophrenia, or both. They meticulously reviewed her medical history, pointing out patterns and symptoms that fit well within known psychiatric and neurological disorders. Brain scans, EEGs, and psychological evaluations were all part of their arsenal, each piece of evidence meticulously analyzed to build a case against the notion of possession. They pointed to the lack of scientific proof of demonic possession, calling it an old-fashioned idea. In their view, attributing Emily's condition to supernatural causes was not only unscientific, but also dangerous, as it diverted attention from real, treatable medical conditions. They argued that such beliefs could lead to neglect of proper medical care, worsening the patient's condition. Psychiatrists focused on Emily's mental health argued that her religious upbringing and the stress of college had caused a mental breakdown, leading to religious delusions and self-harm. They delved into her past, exploring her family dynamics, her personal struggles, and the immense pressure she faced in her academic life. To them, Emily's visions and experiences were manifestations of a mind pushed to its limits, seeking refuge in familiar religious imagery. They gave her a mix of medicines, but nothing worked. Despite their best efforts, the medications failed to alleviate her symptoms. Each new prescription brought hope, only to be dashed by the persistence of her condition. The failure of medical treatments only fueled the debate, with each side interpreting the results to fit their narrative. The evil spirit stayed, its hold on Emily getting stronger every day. For those who believed in the supernatural, this was undeniable proof of a demonic presence. They recounted chilling episodes of Emily's behavior, her voice changing, her strength becoming superhuman, and her knowledge of things she couldn't possibly know. These accounts were terrifying, painting a picture of a young woman trapped in a battle with an unseen, malevolent force. But for those who believed, Emily's suffering was a scary reminder of the unseen world, a chilling proof of the power of evil hiding just out of sight. They saw her as a martyr, a victim of forces beyond human comprehension. Prayer groups formed, vigils were held, and the faithful gathered, hoping to offer her some semblance of peace through their collective faith. They saw her suffering as a fight for her soul, a spiritual war fought within her broken body. To them, Emily's ordeal was not just a medical case but a profound spiritual crisis. It was a stark reminder of the eternal struggle between good and evil, light and darkness. Her story became a symbol, a rallying point for those who believed in the power of faith to confront and overcome the darkest of forces.